Hi, I'm Joy Bostic, and welcome to Take Charge of You, where I will provide you with information in a way that you may have never thought about it. During this series, you will be challenged to think about why you do certain things currently and what could be better options for you. The ultimate goal is for you to be in a position to make more well-informed decisions as you proceed with your life. In this session, we will discuss dieting and exercise. I know that if we were to go out right now and ask 10 people what one thing they would want to change about themselves, most likely 9 of them would say to lose weight. Most people decide that it's time to lose weight at the beginning of the year as a New Year's resolution. And when they've made this decision, the path to achieving this is to exercise and go on a diet. However, statistics show that 80% of people abandon their resolution by February, but it's a great moneymaker for fitness centers. When we look at the strategy of exercising, let's think about this for a moment. And I want you to ask yourself, how long is your workout when it comes to you exercising? You may say 30 minutes. So let's just go with that for a moment. Now, before we get into that, let's kind of break down a calorie. A calorie is a unit of energy or heat. Calories refer to the energy people get from the food and drinks they consume and the energy they use in physical activity. So essentially, it is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of water. Now, in our bodies, food and drinks are combined with oxygen to release that energy. And this, at the end of the day, is referred to as metabolism. So now that we kind of have a basic understanding of a calorie, let's compare what is a calorie to 1 pound. There are 3,500 calories in 1 pound. So, to lose 1 pound of weight, one must burn 3,500 calories. So let's look at how this can be accomplished through exercising. So let's look at various exercises and see how many calories those exercises actually burn. We're going to use, as this example, a 155-pound person, and the workout will be for 30 minutes. So if we're walking, our 155-pound person's walking at 3.5 miles an hour for 30 minutes, that person will burn 133 calories. Walking at 4 miles per hour will burn 175 calories. Low impact aerobics for 30 minutes will burn 198 calories. High impact aerobics for 30 minutes will burn 252 calories. Swimming for 30 minutes will burn 216 calories. Playing tennis for 30 minutes will burn the same as high impact aerobics at 252 calories. If our 155-pound person went biking at 9 miles per hour for 30 minutes, that would burn 360 calories. If they went running at 6 miles per hour, that would burn 360 calories. So now that we've seen this, we want to look and see how much time is going to be necessary in order to lose weight, burn calories. So we're going to figure that out, how many hours would be necessary by calculating. We're going to calculate by multiplying the calories burned in 30 minutes and then divide that number into 3,500 in order to get the number of hours necessary to burn 1 pound. So let's look at our walking at 3.5 miles per hour. If we're burning 133 calories for 30 minutes, how many hours would it take to actually burn off 3,500? 13. Walking at 4 miles per hour, it would take 10 to burn off 1 pound. Low impact aerobics, 9 hours. High impact aerobics, 7 hours. Swimming, 8 hours. Tennis, 7 hours. And then biking and running would be 5 hours. So how many have the time to actually burn a pound of weight by exercising? That's something we've never really been taught. We've been told over and over again that if you want to lose weight, you need to adopt an exercise program. Exercising is fantastic for heart health and other functions of the body, but not for weight loss. Because as you can see, you don't have 13 hours to walk at 3.5 miles per hour every day. If you did that, what else can you do? So the other thing we have to keep in mind is even if we exercise at these high levels, at these long intervals, we're still eating during the day. So some of those calories that we've burned, they're now negated because we've put more calories in our system. So hopefully you're understanding that exercising alone will not help you lose weight. Unless, of course, you have all day to do it. But again, exercise is vital for overall health, circulation, blood flow, heart health, lung health, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Flexibility, developing strong bones, all of that exercise is excellent for. But it's not excellent for losing weight. So now let's look at dieting. Recognize that any diet program will work. Nutrisystem, ketogenic, paleo, low carb, Mediterranean, HCG protocol, Weight Watchers, etc. All of those diet programs will work. As a matter of fact, the crack diet will work as well. Have you ever seen an overweight crack addict? So, to lose weight by dieting, you must first reduce your calorie intake. Most of us immediately think of portion control when we think of dieting, but this means that we will experience hunger and frustration and anger, and eventually we will stop the diet. What happens when you go on a diet? Well, you adopt the rules of the diet plan: calorie restrictions, drinking shakes, eating strange combinations, taking pills, wearing straps and things that bind you up, or whatever the rules are. And during this time, you are vigilant, keeping your eye on the prize, if you will. And most people can adhere to diet rules for about up to 12 weeks in order to reach their weight loss goal. So what happens when you go on a diet? Eventually, you go off a diet. Initially, you may pay close attention to watching portion sizes. As time passes, you're still happy with your smaller size. You're still happy because you're fitting better in your clothes. So your portion sizes get a little bit larger. They start to grow. And because your clothes are still fitting, you figure, hey, I'm still doing well. Now, statistics have been reported that over 82% of people regain the weight that was lost, and about 60% actually end up weighing more than they did before the diet. So why does this yo-yo effect happen? Because you go back to life as you knew it before, to your old habits. Over time, as you return to habits before the diet, you don't even acknowledge that weight is being regained. Now let's understand, losing weight is not the hard part. Maintaining the weight loss is. While we are on these diet plans, we should be planning how things will be different once we come off the diet plan. We need to recognize that if we go back to our old habits, then we should expect the weight to come back. So we need to think about this as we're looking at dieting as an option to lose this weight that we want to lose. Let's look at our daily calorie needs. For men, the average calorie needs for adult men is 2,400 to 2,600 calories per day. For women, it's 2,200 to 2,400 calories per day. And remember that calories measure the energy used by your body, but we'll go back to that in just a moment. When we look at diets, we typically look at portion control or calorie restrictions. So most diet programs are going to reduce your calorie intake to incredibly low amounts. And reducing this far could lead to nutrition deficiencies because you're not taking in enough calories to provide you enough energy. So let's look at food and see what's happening here. This is what 480 calories looks like. You can have 4 tablespoons of olive oil, or you can have this plate full of food. 480 calories. Let's keep looking at this. Let's look at another example of this. What does 500 calories look like? Well, if you take a stomach, this is how much oil is 500 calories in your stomach. This is how much cheese you can get for 500 calories. This is how much meat you can get for 500 calories. Grains and beans. And then look at fruits and vegetables. You are bursting out of your stomach with the fruits and vegetables. So what does this mean? Knowing the calorie count of different foods means that you can eat an abundance of many foods while limiting other foods. And this leads us to something called calorie density. Understanding calorie density can make all of the difference in the world. Now, you may hear energy density, but that's the same thing as calorie density. To understand this concept, calorie density is the number of calories a food provides relative to the weight of that food. Foods with high calorie density provide more calories per bite than foods with low calorie density. Thus, if you're trying to lose weight, you should focus on low calorie dense foods because they're going to fill you up for fewer calories. So let's look at this a little bit further. You're looking at a chart here, and this is a calorie density chart, and this is the average calories per pound. If you look at veggies, when you look at vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, for 1 pound of non-starchy vegetables, it's going to deliver 100 calories. Now go all the way to oil. For 1 pound of oil, like olive oil, sapphire oil, corn oil, peanut oil, for 1 pound, it's going to deliver 4,000 calories. Now, hopefully no one is consuming 1 pound of oil at one time. But in order to get a comparison, because vegetables are so low in calories, the chart had to keep going up just so that you could get a number for your vegetables. So another way to view this is to compare it to nutrient density. So let's look at nutrient density. I'm sure you've heard people, say, or you may have experienced it yourself, that about an hour after a meal of, say, yogurt, a muffin, and orange juice, or maybe you decided to have a meal of a donut and soda, about an hour later, you find yourself, or you say, my goodness, I'm hungry again. Why is this? It's because of the lack of nutrients. So before we get into nutrient density, let's talk about the role of nutrients. They first provide energy, which is power and heat. And please understand that all of our biological and physiological body functions require energy. A calorie equals 1 unit of energy. Nutrients also regulate body processes like metabolism, which keeps the body in good working order. And then nutrients help to maintain, repair, and grow our bodies as well as our cells. Within our bodies, nearly all of our cells are constantly being replaced and rejuvenated. So nutrients build and rebuild all parts of the body, such as muscle, bone, teeth, and blood. Now, when we're looking at the various types of nutrients, we have vitamins. Vitamins are involved in chemical reactions. They, regulate body processes and promote normal body system functions, such as the nervous system and the immune system. Vitamins also make red blood cells. Then we also have minerals, is another type of nutrient. Minerals are involved in enzyme functions, like nerve impulses and bone structure. Then we have carbohydrates, which are really starch. Starch provides us energy and a source of fiber. And when we talk about starch, which is what we should call it, these are a type of carbohydrates, but these are complex carbohydrates. Then we have water. Water is a solvent and a lubricant. Water helps to transport nutrients. It also helps to regulate our temperature. Seeing that our body weight is more than 60% water, water plays a great role in regulating our temperature. Then we have protein. Protein is the structural building blocks, and these are very important when a person is growing. When is a person growing? When they are newborns. We should not still be growing once we've hit 50 years old. We should not still be growing once we've passed 22. Protein. Then we also have lipids. Lipids, that's a little scientific word for fat. Fat is our energy storage. It stores energy for times of starvation. It also does fat plays a role in cell repair, but we'll also see it as an insulator. So the more fat that one has, the warmer their body stays. So our bodies need these nutrients, but needs them in different amounts to function. So now let's ask the question, why do we get hungry? We experience hunger because the body is void of the nutrients it needs to function. Let me explain. Messages are sent from the brain. When you eat, messages are sent from the brain to get more nutrients. If you have fed it food that didn't have a lot of those nutrients that the body needs. So because those messages are being sent, hey, we need more nutrients, it drives you to eat more. So you should focus on getting the proper amount of nutrients rather than eating copious amounts of food. And this is nutrient density. So how do we conquer nutrient density? Well, let's break down what it is. Nutrient density is the number of nutrients in a food relative to the calories or energy that food provides. So the more nutrients per fewer calories, higher, it equals a higher nutrient density. Nutrient density happens to line up with calorie density. The more calorie dense a food is, the less nutrients it provides to the body. The less calorie dense a food is, the more nutrients are provided to the body. So let's look at an example here. Let's just make a comparison. It has been said in the last few years, it's really been promoted, that olive oil is the healthiest oil out there. So I want to make a comparison. Okay? And what I did is I pulled the nutrition facts label for olive oil. And you'll see here, for 1 tablespoon of olive oil, it provides 120 calories. For 1 tablespoon. Look at the nutrients it has. None. It is all fat. So it does have a nutrient, it's only fat. That is the only nutrient it has. Now let's compare that to olives, where olive oil is derived out from. Let's look at its nutrition facts. You can see that it has considerably less fat, but look at the bottom. It has vitamin A, it has vitamin C, it has calcium, it has iron, and it has so much other stuff in there. So when you look at the two, and just for a second, let's compare something. When we're looking at the olives, a serving size on this nutrition label is half a cup. The serving size on the olive oil is 1 tablespoon. In order to equal half a cup, you would have to eat 8 tablespoons of olive oil. When you do that, then you're getting 960 calories, whereas a half cup of olives provides you with only 80 calories. So hopefully you can see the difference here. Between the two, the whole olives are much more nutrient dense than the olive oil, which is pure fat. So eating mainly low nutrient and high calorie foods results in the body not using all of the energy that was consumed. Thus, it gets stored in the body as fat, which often leads to weight gain, poor heart health, and in many cases, the onset of diabetes. These are typically high processed foods, which means they have been stripped of their nutrients and have added fat, sugar, and salt, or what these companies call the bliss point. So when these food-like products are consumed, you are left hungry for nutrients, which drives you to eat more. This is a vicious cycle. So again, we want to eat mainly nutrient-dense foods to experience weight loss and maintain that weight loss. As a teaser for session 2, I want to share with you that processed companies go out of their way to manipulate the products they make and market them to make us believe they are filled with nutrients. But they are designed to cause us to eat more and ultimately gain weight. In 2011, 60 Minutes did a story, and it was titled The Flavorist: Tweaking Taste and Creating Cravings. And that is the QR code for the YouTube video on this particular story. It's about 14 minutes long. So I'll just leave that up on the screen for a second for you to be able to get a picture of that. Hopefully you had a chance to get that. If not, you can certainly rewind, pause, and get that. So I want to issue a challenge to you. Now that you have a bit more understanding of dieting, exercise, and calorie and nutrient density, I want to challenge you to focus on consuming more green foods rather than yellow and red foods. I challenge you to intentionally eat more nutrient-dense foods. And then you can download a copy of this calorie density chart at the link in the notes below. If you have any questions, please feel free to include your questions in the comment section below. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to seeing you in session 2 for Take Charge of You.